So Ilir, this fight was first scheduled to happen in June and then moved to last week in New York, and now you're both fighting in Uruguay. How hard was it to deal with all these changes and these setbacks and getting ready to fight and not fighting?
uh, what to say, it's always hard with changes and plans. You have to refocus. You put time and energy in your training camps, but this is also a part of the sport to be able to adapt to changes because as we know, anything happens.
You both made weight and both faced off in Stockholm, but then you had this back problem. How did that happen?
It's an old injury that I had many years, and problem was during the weight cut. My body was very sensitive, and I pulled an old injury up, and it was so past bad, so I wasn't in shape for fighting.
Did you consider fighting despite the injury, or it wasn't even?
We were, when I felt it the first day, I had to okay, let's do some treatment stuff. I pushed it second day, third, but the third day I felt like it's just getting worse, and so I had to pull, and it was very hard.
We know fighters aren't 100% every time they step in the octagon. In a scale from 1 to 10, how are you physically speaking right now going to this fight?
Like you said, every fight you have small injuries and stuff and whatever, So, but right now, I'm feeling great, so I can't say nothing.
This old back injury, is it gone or is it just under control right now?
It's a thing that I usually have to work with. I do a lot of rehab and stuff, but I haven't had before this time. I didn't have any issues for a long time, So hopefully I won't have it anymore.
All the setbacks and all the having to cut weight and all that and not fighting, does that make you hungrier going to this fight now?
I mean, of course, if you put so many months of training for a fight, makes you hungry for fighting, of course.
Speaking of the fight Saturday, Volkan had an incredible rise in the UFC, but now he's coming off 3 straight losses. Do you think that maybe he wasn't all that great to begin with? He had the right matchups, or maybe just something he has to deal with in his training, in his life?
Absolutely, no. I think Volkan is a great fighter. He's very tough. You got to see his losses came with Daniel Cormier, one of the best ever in this sport. Came against Anthony Smith. And also the last fight I didn't even think he really lost. So I don't fair to it's not fair to him. So I think he's a great fighter and he's one of the toughest guys in the division.
This game is very cruel. Do you think that maybe his job is on the line here if he goes there and loses 4 in a row against you?
I don't think so. I think he's a very good fighter, and he puts up a show. So I think he'll still be around.
And how do you see yourself in beating him on Saturday?
As I always try to go to the finish. Where the fight goes, I'm gonna try to go for the finish.
And what's next for you after this? Do you have someone in mind that you would like to test your hands against?
Well, like I said, after my last fight, that was it was a very interesting, not interesting, but it was a hard loss because in a way it was. I wasn't in my best performance there. Was ill during the fight, and so this fight was very important for me now to come back and as a contender, either in light heavyweight or I even have plans of going to heavyweight, fighting in heavyweight. So let's see.
Is that something that's possible for our next fight?
That would be probably, yeah.
How do you see yourself against the heavyweights? Such a tough division.
Yeah, I mean, both divisions are tough. Light heavyweight is as tough as heavyweight. Both divisions, they hit hard. Light heavyweight, they're faster, higher paced, and there are advantages of fighting the heavier guys. So let's see.
There's someone in there that you would like to test yourself, based off fighting styles or something personal?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to fight the top top 10 guy there, you know, and see, you know.
You think
Maybe Derrick Lewis.
you think that a win over him on Saturday puts you in that position to go up and straight against the top 10?
Yeah, I'm not looking past Volkan, so this is a fight I have to focus on and do it. And after that, let's see, you know, let's take the decision from there.
Final question on the light heavyweights. Your buddy Alexander Gustafsson announced that he's not going to fight anymore. He's retired from the sport. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think do you still see him in the gym training, or he's just walked away to clear things up?
I haven't been home for a couple of months, but I think he's still working out, you know, doing a thing, and let's see what the future has for him. You know, it's hard when you had the goal of being a champ and you miss that chance a couple of times, and to find the motivation just to fight for fighting, or you're fighting for the title, is different. So let's see if the future changes his mind and his motivation.
Yeah, it's very personal, but knowing him for such a long time, do you feel like maybe he has something in here that in him that maybe he can come back and still do great?
Of course, he is a great fighter still, you know, but he has to feel it in the heart that he wants to put the effort, you know.